Where do broken hearts go? I'm Alvin King, and this is We Speak. Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Speak. Recently, my executive producer and I were at a social gathering, having a conversation with a young lady about what it's like being single in this day and age. Now, of course, we both took the shallow approach, not understanding why this beautiful woman, with a gorgeous smile and a fantastic figure, could possibly still be on the market. As we pursued the conversation, we basically came to understand that the lack of committed relationships in this day and age is not a straight thing, it's not a gay thing, it just seems to be a people thing. In working with our panel members over the last year on our set of We Speak, we've gotten an opportunity to talk about the scene we've come to know for the good and the bad called dating, or as some refer to it as oh that, or we kicking it when there's some confusion about where the relationship really is. But we also have an opportunity to talk about those committed relationships too. So tonight, I'm going to ask questions about dating today. So let me get started and jump right in. Panel members, is there a difference between dating and a date?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you say that because?
A date is a one-off situation. You come over, you had a date last night. You had a date last night, you had a date last night. It's not continuous. Dating is continuous. That's several dates back to back maybe, or over the course of a couple of weeks or months.
Yeah, but I just don't think someone coming over is a date. Like
You
I
would
would say I
just
went
call
on a
it
date.
It's like a nap.
No, a date is a dinner or a movie or a walk in the park. It's something. It's not a date. That's just a one night stand
See,
or a
I have
booty
to
call.
agree with
I mean, that's what
Riley.
we're
It's a
calling
booty
it these
call.
days.
I agree. Call it what it
That's
is.
what the kids are
If
calling
you're
it.
coming over and we're not going on a date, then it's something other than a
That's
date.
not a date.
See,
It's
this
not a
is
date.
what it is now. We like to say different words to make us feel better about what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Okay.
can go on a date or you can be a date. When someone comes over your house, you are a date. That's what I'm going to call you for the evening. You're a date, but we're not on a date.
Okay.
Remember a few episodes back when I said something about my rant was all these guys that just want to show up at your house. That is not a date. Do you remember I said
I
that?
did.
That is not a date.
Right.
That is
Right.
not taking me out on a date. That's not a date. You just came over. I want to come over with a bottle of wine. It's not a date.
Right. But he is a date.
He does
He's
turn
just a
into
guy.
He's the date if you let him come over.
But I do
Okay.
agree. I do agree with Damon about what you said. People make up these names or terms or whatever to make themselves feel good about
Right.
someone coming over just to get it in.
Right.
That's
No
a
one
booty
wants to say
call.
booty call
No,
anymore.
I mean,
Nobody
that's
wants to
not-
call a
that's
booty
not
call.
No one wants to say
classy.
booty call.
Oh, so now it's about being class. Okay. So, what's your opinion on who picks up the tab on the first date?
The guy.
Because that's so you see, I think first time dates, if you go to dinner, I think it should be Dutch. I think, and Dutch, ladies and gentlemen, is a term where both parties fare equally in the whole dating and picking up the tab scene. So Riley says no. I have people who say that whoever asks.
That's the way I feel. I feel if I ask you on a date, then I should drive. I should open your door for you, however the case may be. I should pay. I should host the dinner or the event, the evening if I do it. If you ask me on a date, I think you should at least attempt to pay for it. I mean, I probably won't let you, but you should at least attempt to do your part in the date because you asked for it.
Are you single?
No, I'm not.
See, I was about to say, y'all better get to him now.
Because he's coming to pick you up in a carriage.
You can send
white
your
horse.
information to WeSpeakTheTalkShow.com, and we will hold your name and number until if Ernest decides to uncommit, just in case, because they don't make them like that too much anymore. Okay, so
It's kind of common, I thought.
well, thanks, Ernest. With the arrival of social apps and websites, do you think that they are a detriment to dating, or are they useful?
It's difficult to say because I don't necessarily. I feel like apps are kind of like going to Victoria's Secret and looking for a Bible. If dating is what you're looking for, I think because social apps tend to skew more towards sexual interactions. That's just what I think. Not to say that you couldn't find a date, but I don't know that you'll be dating.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So we're getting back to your definition of a date and dating.
Yes, I'm consistent.
Okay. So, well, I mean, I definitely don't think that the app, going through an app to get a date is a detriment totally, because I mean, I think everyone should manage what they do and how they do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So if you go into an app looking for sex, then that's what you should get. I'm not saying that you should go into an app looking for love either. I just think that if you go into anything with expectation tends to kill.
Okay.
I think when you're busy, it's
Expectation
a good.
kills.
Okay.
What does it kill?
It could kill the possibility of what could be.
I'm gonna process that.
I think that it's a good tool, like online dating or apps. It's a good tool to meet people if you're busy. I wouldn't say it. I've actually had relationships come out of online dating, but doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're hookup sites, but I think it's a good tool to meet someone, and then, like you said, you control how it goes, whether it's going to go into dating or whether it's going to go into just sex.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I personally, I've used it, like most of the people that I've talked to who on those apps, they're people that I've seen out, and I'm shy. People don't believe it, but I'm really shy. So if it's someone that I'm scrolling and I've seen him before, I want to talk to him, I'll hit that person up. It's very rare that I would have hit someone up that I've never seen before. I've actually had maybe 2 relationships from an app, but it was more so of an icebreaker for me, just to give me a chance to talk to you
Sounds
without
like
no, not really stalking, but just give me a chance to talk to you without all the distractions and the pressure of being face-to-face rejection.
Right.
So you manage your actions when you meet people wherever you meet them. You can meet them at the club and it can be sex, or you can meet them at the grocery store.
Absolutely.
So you're responsible for your own actions however you meet people.
Well, I think the detriment piece comes in when people tend to use apps or social media to hide behind it and not show you who they really are. And that's where I think the detriment piece comes in. When you go on these apps and you see these beautiful people or people that you have a physical attraction to, and then when you see them, they're not who they really are. I think that's the detriment to some of these online and app dating. People are not who they say they really are.
Because you can create whatever personality or character you
Exactly,
want.
yeah.
And I agree. That's probably why.
Anyway.
I agree. That's probably why I don't like online dating. I mean, once again, it's entertainment to me. Right. It's entertainment. You get the best quality of an individual once you see them face to face. Once you actually interact with them and you meet them and you talk to them, I think that's when you get the vibe and you know where this is going to go. If it's going to be a date, or date.
Okay, well, would you date someone if they didn't have a cell phone? And if not, what about what about no form of transportation? Would you?
What is
would
no
you date
form of transportation?
What do you mean?
Well, someone could say in these times you could say they don't have a fare card because that. But I'm saying if they don't have a car, because usually a lot of people don't like to date if someone
I'm
doesn't
not
have a
dating
car.
someone who does not have a cell phone. How am I going to send them pictures? I'm kidding. No.
Well, it's true.
Well, you could call them, but go ahead.
No. Who doesn't have a cell phone?
If you you're not alive if you don't have a like. We can't even.
My grandmother had
There's
a cell
something
phone.
wrong with your life
If you don't have a cell phone?
and your goals in life.
They're like
you don't have a cell phone.
And that's
Look
another
where we
question. It's
are.
a challenge if you don't have a way to communicate with me. That's. I mean, I don't have the upper hand. If I have a phone, you can contact me, but I can't contact you. That's
No, something else is
My
going on
question
with
would be,
It's a
why
little
don't you have a
suspect.
cell phone?
Absolutely.
How are you handling business
on the
for
run?
work
Are you
or anything? Right.
Can you not
Witness
afford
protection.
a cell phone, or you're just anti modern technology?
So
Either
if-
way,
But one or the other.
We're not gonna
not
work.
having a car and
The
not
answer is
having a
no.
cell phone. That's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a fear that your standards may be too high for the people that you're attracted to?
No,
No.
No.
Not at all.
I feel like my standards should be high.
I think my standards should be higher.
I have to agree. I think, in order to attract the people that you want and plan to keep, you have to, have them, you have to set your standards high, because if not, you're going to get the person who doesn't have a cell phone and you don't know why they don't have a cell phone, or why they don't have a phone number, or any of those things. So I believe you have to set your standards high in order to get what you're looking for.
I'm kind of I'll meet you in the middle kind of person.
What?
Okay.
I'll meet you, I mean, because the thing about with relationships, it's all about growth. If we can both meet in the middle, we can grow together. You don't have to have ABC for me to date you, I'm just not the type of person.
I need to at least see some ambition. I don't want a
Right,
project.
you have to have some goals.
I don't want a
Right.
project.
Right.
So I'm not gonna, but I need to at least see drive and ambition.
Well, see, and that's something that when we say that raising our standards, that doesn't mean that you need to come to the table with, a pot. I'm not putting a definition on what you need to come to the table to. I'm just saying that I have certain standards that I'm not going to break, or I'm not going to change just to be with somebody. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, I kind of feel like you too. I want to feel like I can meet you in the middle, but I do have standards that in meeting you in the middle, these standards are going to be here.
I'm coming to the middle with my
I'm coming
standards.
to the middle with my standards. Okay. Do any of you have a fear of being alone?
No.
I think I used to. I think I used to have when I would get out of a relationship when I was dating, before I would even get out of a relationship, if I felt there was a problem, I'd set myself up so when this was over with, the next one was in the door already. And I did this consecutively for about 8 to 10 years. And then,
You were on a roll.
yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be alone. And then when I was finally alone, I fell in love with me. And everything else just fell into place.
That's where I am.
Yes, that sounded like an Oprah moment.
It's a life class.
Well, I used to have a fear of being alone until after a relationship that I was in for 10 years, and after it was over, I was out of one for 10 years, and so during that time, I didn't even know that I had a fear of being alone. But when I look back and saw that from the age of 17, I was never really out of I had been in a relationship from 17 to 40. And so it just, it caught me off guard. And I mean, there were a couple of times that I thought, wow, you're really alone, you're gonna die alone. I went through that whole, that whole process, right. But I
so
mean,
morbid.
now, today, I don't have a problem with being alone. I can do things by myself and feel good about Alvin. So.
I love it. I love getting in the bed alone. I love waking up alone. Because, I mean, I think I've just gotten used to that. Or it could be the fact that I kind of was, maybe like you, was in relationship after relationship. So now I'm just kind of like enjoying it. And now if somebody wants to like spend the night, I'm like, do we really have to do that?
Right, can I see you tomorrow?
Right. Maybe not tomorrow, because I just saw you today. So maybe like 3 days from now.
Well, I think the one thing I learned, I guess, on that subject is I don't mind being alone sometimes, meaning for hours or whatever, but at the end of the day, at the end of the night, that extra companion, that really, it's a big thing. It's something where if I don't have somebody in the bed, well, not somebody, but if I don't have my significant other with me, then the whole night is totally different.
I think it's different once you're in a relationship. But if you're single and just dating, whatever y'all think.
Or
that
calling
is,
dates over.
Dating.
You're quite busy.
then it's sort of like,
Right.
but see, I think that kind of speaks to how into that person you are. If you're really into someone, you don't want them to leave right then. Like you feel like they just got there, even if they've been there for 10 hours. But
Maybe.
if you're not really into them, it's just sort of like, okay, you got to spend the night, like, because I understand both sides of it. I understand, like, feeling kind of like, where is the if you're in a relationship, you
Right.
know, but then wanting them to get out, like, why are you still here? You
Now, I
know?
feel like that before.
So what you doing later on tonight? I'm not gonna be right here.
That's like in the jump off session. In the jump off, once it's over, it's like, okay, why are you still here?
That's a
You know?
date
That's when you
versus
say,
dating.
what are you about to do?
Exactly.
We just figured out what the definition of dating versus dating. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, a jump off. As Ernest just referred to it
Hashtag
as.
jump off.
Hashtag
Hashtag
jump
jump
off. Remember that.
Ready or not, here I come.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little
What?
better.
Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job, and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and our studio audience to We Speak. Panel, have you adapted to dating online apps? Or, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Have you adapted to the apps and online process that comes along with it?
What do you mean adapt?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to learn when you go on these online dating, online apps, I'm told. That, you know, there's a lot of clicking.
I'm told.
Sorry.
There's a process to it. You just don't go on and, you know, when you're searching and looking for certain types of people that you want, there are ways to do that. And it takes a lot of people who are not used to that type of dating a moment, you know, to get used to it. How is that for you?
I mean, you know, it's kind of like picking an Instagram filter. You just choose which one you want. Like, you choose what's best for you. You're filtering through a lot of different people. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy. I mean, just
so like going
on
to
what you're
McDonald's?
looking for. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Pick your order.
See something on the menu you want. That's what you pick. That's who you hit up. That's what you work with for a couple of days until you stop communicating with that person, and next week you pick someone else.
Which is probably what's going to happen.
Wow.
It's never a commitment. It's like we talk for a week, we exchange messages, and then I'll get tired of messaging you because I really don't want to meet you in person. And then the following week, I'll just pick somebody else.
That's the reality
No.
of
Right,
online.
that's real.
See, here's the thing. For me,
You okay?
I'm sorry. I got choked. I was about to really go off. For me, I don't want. It's a great way to meet someone, but I'm not going to spend more than a week like just messaging back and forth. It's like, at what point are we going to meet up, or are we going to just have this cyber relationship? I just can't do that.
Right. Yeah.
For me, we got to make it, and I always find that's the way to weed out people who are serious. If they really want to meet up, they just want to be like online, like pen pals, you know. That's like the new form of pen pals.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Would you delete your dating app immediately after you start dating someone? Would you do that?
Well, if we communicate that we are dating and we are exclusive, then yes, I would. Yes, but if we're just, you know, going out on dates, I'm not going to cut off all of my resources just because we had a great night at the movies.
And I've heard that's challenging in relationships when you're trying to get to meet people. Is when you cut it off. I have a lot of friends that are single, and they always want to know what it takes to make a relationship work. But when you meet online, for me, it's just challenging. It's not real. You can cut it off whenever, and that, I guess, unless you what's it called, Skype.
Skype.
Okay, unless you Skype or something like
FaceTime.
FaceTime or something like that. That's the general way, but it's just not personal. I guess is what I want to say.
Well,
and I'm sorry, I kind of got off, but I really did get off.
Well, no, this helps lead me into what I'm going to say. I think this whole art of dating thing, there's a lack of, people don't like to communicate anymore. And the whole communication piece is missing. So in terms of, to me, when and if I decide to close down my apps or do things differently, that's a conversation I want to have. And I think nowadays people don't want to talk about things. They don't want to communicate.
I don't really think that I want to. I don't think that we need to have a conversation about you deleting your apps. I just feel like it's a personal thing, and like I'm not going to tell you I've deleted it. It's just going to be a personal thing that I'm going to process, within myself. Because for me, I don't want to be at a party, and I don't want to be on, the apps. We don't have to name them, and I don't want everyone across the other side of the room scrolling and looking and like that's him over there, and I'm on a date with someone. Right. I think that's kind of disrespectful, and then their friends are like, we all looking at him, he's on here. So I think when you get to that point, you just go ahead and just take inventory of how you really feel, and just go ahead and delete it. And it doesn't really need to be a conversation. You just know that you've done it because you are personally in a space with that person that you want to go forward.
Mm-hmm. So say you've decided to do it, and the person that you're dating has not. How would you feel about that?
I think if you're in a committed relationship, it should just be implied that you should not be on a dating site.
Right.
If we're in a committed relationship, not we're just dating, or not you're my date.
Or a date. Right.
Then it's like, because how embarrassing would it be to be at that same party and you're in your relationship and you're just having a great time, and then all these people are around just like, oh, I saw your boyfriend on a dating site. Like, what's up with that? It's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing, yeah.
Wow, and those things do happen in this world of dating, unfortunately. It really does.
If you're in a committed relationship, you should not still be on the sites.
But at one point in time, do you decide that, because like you said, you could take yours off, and it's often troubling for the other person when you have to bring that conversation up. I mean, it's not an easy conversation to come up, look, I took mine off, so you should take yours off.
If you're in a committed relationship.
Well, how do you know that they have it? Did you meet online?
Listen.
That's exactly right.
So one of your friends comes and says, I saw your boyfriend.
Okay, so
it depends on how you met. Right. Okay,
I just feel like, that's a conversation that you actually probably do need to have when you decide to commit to each other.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so we're gonna be together, and that means, we're not dating anyone else. We're not on any other social apps.
Right.
Besides Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if that's not how I met you, I'm going to assume that you're not there.
Ooh.
But if I met you there, I'm going to assume that you still have it. I mean, my whole philosophy now, as soon as I can, I'm going to go through your phone.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
I just feel like that's where we are now. With all the social media and all the apps and everything, I'm going to go through your phone.
I'm going to ask you first, because I think I'm going to ask you. I'm going to have a conversation with you first, because I know I don't want anybody going through my phone and violating my space in that way. I don't care how long we've been together. Ask me, because I will tell you, I will definitely tell you the truth. But I think if you haven't met if you didn't meet on a app, those are conversations that you should have. Like, I think when you meet someone, or if you decide to date them for a long period of time, I have learned there are two questions that you ask. Do you want to be in a relationship, and can you be in one? Those are two questions that are two totally different questions that believe me, if you don't ask that question, both of them, you could be on the short end of the stick, I've learned. So those are two questions that I always ask, and if they tell me a lie in the end, then I'll find that out. But those questions are very important to me. Remember that. Okay, so at what point of dating have you realized when you were dating that this is the one? How do you know that this is the one? Was there a moment that you could share with us?
It's so hard because I've been wrong.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah.
As I reflect, I wasn't right.
Oh yeah.
I think in the past, it's just, you just kind of think like, you've gotten to a certain point. I know for me, I tend to measure, so I want to at least have gotten to know you over a period of time. Right. So, maybe like 3 months, I don't know.
Well, I think in this new dating thing, people send their what do you call it? They send their fake person first, or their representative.
Right.
They send their instead of coming
That's
themselves.
what I was falling for.
Right, and I'm, me personally, I'm very transparent. I kind of wear my feelings on my face, and you look in my eyes, you know if you're getting on my nerves or it's not right, or you did something. My eyes will tell it. But people send their representatives on these dates, on these first dates, and that's who you tend to fall in love with, only to find out that, wow, I really don't know you. I've been there. That's a very disappointing thing.
It is. I've been there before too. When I was dating, I had a rule, and it was a 6-month rule. I always said people put a facade like within the first 6 months. Anywhere, and it's kind of worked. Within that 6 months, and sometimes even got to the maximum of 6 months, the real person comes out. For example, I like to cuddle, I like to kiss, I like to do movies, but then once you get together and it's been like 3 or 4 months, and we're trying to cuddle, get away from me, or I don't want to do this, then that's the real person that's coming out. Ooh. That's the deal breaker right there, and you cut it off right then. If I'm bringing the truth to the table and you're bringing a facade, then that usually doesn't work for me.
I know this is another talk show, but is it really that easy to cut it off after that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, for me, it's
okay.
For me, it is.
I need everybody to finish this sentence. You wouldn't get a second date with me if you
were texting throughout our entire date.
If you're not present.
That's critical. That's critical. If you're not present, yeah. Depending on where we go, on our first date, for example, if we go to dinner, you are not going to get a second date with me if you're rude at dinner.
Say that, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
you are not, if you're rude
to the server.
To the server, you are not going if we're at dinner. You probably won't get a second date if you give me a pet name after we leave the movie theater.
Like babe?
Don't call me babe, boo,
babe.
Or no, don't do that, honey. I am Alvin.
Until further notice.
Further notice. So, that's just something else. But
I'm trying to think. It's a lot of reasons for you.
I want to hear one.
I mean, being rude to a waiter, that wouldn't be a deal breaker because that's probably me.
Oh, really?
How are you
wait a minute. How this chariot, these white horses?
Thank you for not being a representative to the show.
Not just because, but within reason. There are lots of reasons. I mean, if you talk too much, I think that's a deal breaker for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a friend, and he wonders why he's single, and no matter where we go, it's a club, it's a mall, it's wherever, he's constantly talking, and you never get. That's a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and see, mine is the opposite. If you don't talk enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you don't talk enough, and I'm carrying the conversation, and you're just kind of like boring, you wonon't get a second date with me.
Yeah.
You
How about you, Mr. Skye? Because you haven't finished that sentence.
I just feel like there are so many things that could possibly go wrong for you that it would not happen.
You just can't win.
I mean,
absolutely.
It's not that difficult. I mean, like you said, don't be rude to the servers. Like that is something that's really big to me because it just tells me that this is how you treat people that you don't know. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's important because you'll probably eventually treat me like that.
Well, before I have this in relations to that. Have you ever been on a date with someone, or you're going on a date with someone, and they show up in the wrong outfit or something that you think is not appropriate for that date?
That has never happened to me. I think it's probably me that's more likely to show up in the inappropriate thing, and it has happened because my date will be like, "Oh, you dressed down." And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me where we were going, so I'm going to naturally assume it's casual.
I found a way to fix that. Okay. I just overdress for everything.
For everything.
I overdress for everything.
Everything.
Yep.
Oh, no.
I used to do a cute thing with this guy that we were dating. I would tell him the type of shoe that I'm wearing, so that way he'll know what to put on.
Smart.
That's smart.
You just educated someone. Ladies and gentlemen, Damon just educated you. We're going to take a commercial break for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brymere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Okay, is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Welcome home, man.
Hey, Zachary.
Ready?
Yes. You looking good? Great hit.
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete? 1 in 16,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. You know the odds of autism. Now learn the signs. Go to autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, panel, here's my next question for you. Do you know anyone who has developed a successful relationship through someone that they've met online or through an app?
Yes, and they got married.
Yeah. I have to agree. I agree with Riley. My best friend and his partner got married, met on an app, got married 4 years ago, and they have a beautiful son. So I know it can work if you want it to work. So the answer would be yes for me.
Mine is in, it's a test period. A buddy of mine has met somebody online and they got together. The app situation we talked about, being on one of the social apps, was a problem. That was deleted. They're engaged to be married, and we're waiting to see what happens.
Oh.
I would never put my opinion out, but I say good luck.
Well, how about you, Demar? You know anyone?
I don't have that story.
Wow. Okay, so since we all have established that we know what apps are and that we've gone on them, on Facebook and some of these other apps, they have the little status button where you put down, you know, single, married, whatever. When you see it's complicated on the online app referencing somebody's status, what does that mean for you?
They're having problems. That they have problems. They're overshares. They share too much. Because I shouldn't know that. Honestly, that's not my business to know. I
It's
shouldn't know
complicated.
that.
Like, why are
No,
you
it's not my
saying that
business.
to the world? Why are you saying my relationship is cracked? It's flawed.
Ooh,
Like,
what if
look
you're
at it.
in a say we're in a relationship, right? And I put on my thing, it was, you know, married or whatever, and then I put it's complicated, but you don't know that I put it's complicated, and then
Let
you
me
go on
find
my
out, and I'm
Facebook.
putting it's
Wait a
homework.
minute, why are you putting, you know, wouldn't you think, like, why are you putting our business out like that?
It's
Like,
going to become very complicated.
Oh yeah, it won't be complicated.
clearly the
anymore.
person who writes it's complicated, their person doesn't follow them.
Well,
Their
but you know,
or they want them to know.
But there's also a chance that when people put it's complicated on there, it could mean it could be their way of wanting to open up communication with you, meaning it's complicated because I live with my roommate, I have a roommate and you can't come over, or I'm married and or we're in a situation where you can't come over, or it's complicated because
I still live with my ex.
I'm just saying it could
This
be.
means so you're saying this means your life is complicated.
I agree
not
with
the
you.
relationship.
Yeah, your life.
I've found that most times, most people that I've talked to that have had that status, they were into someone that wasn't into them. So it was complicated on their end, but I'm sure the other person was just fine. It's complicated because I have feelings this person, and they don't have the same feelings for me.
That's not a relationship status.
Right. So that's what I have. That's what I've come across with the people that
It's
I've
not a
talked
relationship
to.
status.
That's an issue status. You
Right. You have issues.
You have issues. You don't really know what you really. You're not saying what you really need to say, and basically you need to take that off and just leave the whole status button.
Just hide it.
Just hide it. Just get rid of it. Okay. Do any of you prefer the old-fashioned meet-in-person concept of encountering someone?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell us, what is the old-fashioned
It
version?
doesn't happen.
I met a guy on the Stairmaster yesterday. I
hope he's watching.
Oh no.
She's telling
No, we
us.
haven't even gone on a date. I just met him yesterday. Hello.
Okay, I hope
He's
he's
not a
watching.
date, and we
Okay.
are not
Not
dating.
yet.
But yesterday I was on the Stairmaster, and I saw this guy walk in. He doesn't go to my gym, but he was touring to see if possibly he wanted to go to my gym. And he ended up not getting a membership, but he kept walking back and forth with the lady who was giving him the tour. And our eyes kept meeting. He didn't smile at me. I didn't really smile at him. Our eyes just kind of met. And after he was done with his tour, he came back and gave me his card while I was sweating on the Stairmaster. And he was just like, "You're too beautiful." He's like, "If you want to hang out sometime, just..." And we've been texting. But yeah, it was just, I preferred that way of meeting, because he caught my eye first, and I saw him first, and then he saw me, and then I just kind of checked him out, you know what I mean? And if I wouldn't have responded to the card if I thought that I would have texted him or contacted him, even though he gave me his card, if I didn't check him out and thought that he was kind of cool or cute or whatever. So yeah.
Well, I have to admit, the people that I have been in love with, the three people that I've been in love with, we all met in an old-fashioned way. It wasn't via an app or anything like that. So I have to say that, do I believe in it now? I don't even know if it's possible right now, but I'm not. I wouldn't rule it out. But it's just that, for the type of people who are attracted to me, or the people who I've met, is not through going to the grocery store anymore, or walking down the street.
Right.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I don't think our lives are built that way anymore. We have so much going on.
Yeah.
We are always on our phones. We're texting. We just have a lot that we're planning. So I don't think we're ever aware of those encounters when they really could happen.
Right.
We're not in the grocery store looking at somebody. We're there because we're trying to get out. We're trying to get home.
What life are you guys living?
I
I just
know.
feel like that happens to me all the time.
I never have.
I love that.
I don't pay attention
You know
to
why I
people.
love that? Because I love that because I love assertive men.
Okay.
And if you saw me anywhere and you had the nerve or got that you were assertive enough to come up to me and you weren't too shy, like you weren't hiding behind your computer screen or behind a dating app, that to me is really sexy. I love assertive guys.
This actually isn't on script, but I mean, being that you're a woman,
Yeah.
and we're men.
Yeah.
It probably happens more to you that happens more
I get
in
hit
your
on every
case
day.
than to men. Or it looks like Richie says, no, you get hit on all the time. You.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that I feel like I tend to meet more people that I'm interested in face to face, just through happenstance,
I
through
feel that way, too.
circumstances that I wouldn't have expected. That's what tends to happen.
I mean, you have an inviting personality, so people feel comfortable coming up to you.
Well, I was going to say, I do.
But on
too,
dating apps, you're basically like picking out someone like, nope.
Well, they're going
nope,
for
nope, yes,
pictures,
yes.
and I take great pictures.
Yeah. But what if you don't take great pictures? I've met people before, and I've actually met people online who, once I saw them in person, I was like, oh my God, you're so much prettier. Like, your picture's okay, but you are gorgeous in person.
In person, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it just kind of like, I think it's just so much better in person to meet somebody.
I would definitely only meet someone in person, even though that's kind of challenging. When I was dating, I did have the non-approach thing where people really don't approach me. I don't approach people. I've never done it, never will. I don't like rejection, so I don't set myself up to be rejected. But we use the eyes. The eyes don't lie. So if my eyes are telling me, hey, and your eyes are telling me the same thing, then I know, hey, I can take a chance and come over there. But most people that see me, they usually say that they wanted to come over and say something, but I look mean and I looked intimidating.
But
And my
aren't
answer
you-
to them is, then you should go back until you get your stuff together. Once you get your stuff together, then come back and see me.
But aren't
Because
you
have
impressed
to
by
be.
the person that does come up to you because you have an intimidating kind of quality? So that means that person is definitely someone who is assertive and someone who is aggressive, someone that is that they had the nerve, even though you have that exterior, they still were able to come up to you.
Yes and no. It depends on how you come.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, it takes a lot to even come to you. I give you credit for that. And most people used to hit me up online and say, hey, I saw you out and blah, blah, blah. And that's when I used to say, okay, well, then when you get your nerves up, that's when you should come to me. You know?
Ooh, you better be really, to step to me and me be attracted to you, you really need to bring confidence.
Absolutely.
You know, you have to be confident. You
That's
have
the
to be
sexiest quality.
You have to be confident, because if I see that you're not confident, then I can see down the road we're not going to make it, because you're going to be intimidated by some of the things, or just my lifestyle in general. Just, you know, I know that just from experience. So you got to bring your confidence when you meet me. Would you date someone that lives with their ex or with their parents?
With
Totally
Wait.
Well, you know, I thought that too.
Those are two different questions.
But my producer wanted me to put that on there. I thought it was a good idea. So we
Parents, yes, and I have dated someone who lived with their parents, right? Ex, no.
Well, I live with.
Oh, that's right. I know they knew.
I live with an ex. He's not the ex. It was like maybe 12 years ago. So we're really friends, you know. So a lot of times people get intimidated when I tell them, oh yeah, he's my ex or whatever. And I try not to say that. I try to say more, he's my friend, because he is my friend. We're like brothers. But yeah, sometimes it's a problem. I think it's more of a problem for him than it is for me, because I really don't care.
Do you volunteer that information, or do you? Or do
I usually don't. But you know, if I don't want them to assume, you know, anything, and then someone else tells them, oh, you know, that's his ex.
You
know,
said
I don't
12
want
years though?
Like 12 years ago.
12 years is a long time.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking when you asked that question, I'm thinking you meant someone who was like just in a relationship, they were living together, and then all of a sudden they broke up and they're still living together, and somebody's looking for a new place, but they haven't found it yet.
No, hit me up.
No way.
In this case, an ex is an ex is an ex is an ex, and so that's what I kind of I think that's how the question was meant to put to you guys.
What's your ex from 12 years ago?
Well, you know, I mean, it's really about the person, and again, their level of confidence, and when they meet you, and if they're secure in themselves, and how you come at them, it's really about how they interpret and not judge you. For where you are in your life, and if you're not displaying anything that should, what do you call it, give them suspicion or reason to think that you and your ex are having some type of relationship, work with it.
I think I've been a great filter for his relationships. Yeah. He's probably going to kill me, because you know, if you can't deal with our relationship,
filter or partition.
Filter.
Oh, okay.
With the capital F. If you can't deal with the fact that we're friends, and you know, and I live there, then you're probably going to have some other issues. So. Yeah, I'm like, no, that one's not going to work.
Wow. Do you think, generally, people have a fear of committed relationships?
In general?
In general.
I think in general, people want committed relationships. Yeah. It's just to make them work really isn't easy.
And we're talking about now, today, like in today's time.
I still think it's, yeah.
You think
I still think they want. I think people, they still have hope. It's just, you know, hard to transition from hope to the reality of making it work to get to that point. But I think a lot of people still have hope that they can find a committed relationship.
It's one of those things where it's like, what if you get what you want and realize you needed something else? You know, like people want it, and then they realize when they're in it, sometimes they can't handle it. You know, that's happens a lot more than often.
Well, I find that people don't want to do what they did to get it, to keep it.
It does take a lot to keep it.
It takes a lot. I mean, you know, again, when you...
Getting it's easy.
Getting it is easy.
Keeping
you know,
it's hard.
Keeping it is hard, you know. And so I think that's the challenge that most people who are afraid of commitment don't understand before they get into it.
Everybody wants it, but it's not easy to... I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of giving. They say give and take, and you often feel like you're giving consistently, but at the end, if you find the right person, it balances itself out.
Well, I know all of you have been in a relationship, so what would you say is the best part about being in a committed relationship?
For me, I always love to find somebody, I like to find somebody that I can trust, which is really a key element in a relationship, that I'm compatible with, that I can laugh with, and that I can just be myself with. All of those, and it's just a gel. It's a vibe. It's like hand in glove. Once you find that person, it's an automatic fit, and everything for me, it's come natural. Once I find that person, it's just been smooth sailing from that point.
I just found that being for me, the best part of being in a committed relationship was being able to elevate each other. You know, to find out what each other's strengths were, and elevate that, elevate however you possibly could, elevate that. Because I, being the person that I am, I just like to be mentally stimulated. You know, I have to know that, you know, things are growing. I always have my hands in different things. I'm a master at all. I have my hands in a lot of different things, and so I need somebody who can support that. And I want to have somebody that I can support when they want to do something too. So that's a good part.
I think people really mess up a lot. Your relationship, your significant other should be your best friend. And out of all my relationships, I can finally say I found my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I really, and as I get older, you put aside some of the other things. You know, as you get older, you figure you're not going to find somebody who's perfect, who hasn't done anything. You know, you guys kind of check those, okay, I've done mine and you've done yours, so that's in the past, and you move forward with what is as opposed to looking back at what was.
So I know if you're looking at this, Ernest deserves a nice dinner tonight when he gets home off set, okay? He really does. Okay, so what is the best part about being single?
Where do we start?
Options.
Options, fun. I mean, it's just, I think it's great.
Yeah?
I love being single.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to admit, I do like being single, but I also enjoy the company of, you know, knowing that I can go to movies with somebody and all that.
That's
but
what the date is
That's
for.
called options.
That's called options. Okay, so yeah, okay, I agree with Ronnie.
You have the option to do that,
Right,
or you have
right.
the option to sleep alone if you want to.
Exactly.
Right, it's
Or not
options,
sleep alone if you want to.
And being in control, you know, I don't have to text anyone, I have to get permission, I don't have to do anything, I just come and go as I please, and I see you when I see you or when I want to see you.
And you can give all that up for a relationship.
Ooh.
It's hard.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You don't have to give that stuff up.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't have to give everything. For example, when I'm with my best friend and I see somebody walking down the street that I like, I can tell my best friend anything. Oh my gosh, look at this, look at that. Well, my partner, I should be able to say the same thing.
Yeah.
And I am, and I can, and we do. So there's really, I don't have to say where I'm going. There's just such a strong trust factor. Like I said, it's hard to find. It's really rare and hard to find. But
So, if we all said, oh my God, when we leave here, let's drive up to New York for the night and go to the club, and we'll come back Friday, would you have to call and ask for permission?
I will call and, yeah, I mean, unless we have something planned. I would,
So
no,
that's what I'm
not
talking
calling and ask
about.
permission so
That's
much.
considerate.
Not so much as calling and ask
Yeah, that
permission,
is
but I have to
considerate,
respect
yeah.
my relationship.
Yeah,
I
you
have to
gotta
at least say,
respect
hey, look,
that.
I want to, or are we doing anything, or is it okay if I do?
I don't even want that. Like, I just want to, y'all want to go? Let's
I
go.
want it to
That's
be
what I want to do.
us decision.
Let's do it. Well, okay. If you reach a certain age and you still find yourself still single, would you compromise your standards for that person who didn't necessarily reach all of your criteria?
No. Compromise myself for no reason at all.
I thought about it. I thought about it because I you know, pushing a certain age at this point. And
what certain age is that? Are you crazy?
I'm 39.
You're 39. You're
so
not 100.
No, but you know, I just thought I would be married. I thought I would have been married for several years by now. So now, you know, when you meet people, you kind of like, I can deal with that. You know, I tried that. That didn't work.
Not settling for no reason at all.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think I was trying to settle. I just think I was just trying to be realistic. You know.
Well, you're not going to find someone that has every single thing that's on your list.
80-20.
Yeah. So you're not going to find someone that has every single thing on your list, but the question was compromise yourself.
This is our segment of the show that we call I Speak. And tonight we actually decided that we would talk about the young lady, I think it's Toya Graham in Baltimore, who was the mother who beat her son following the riots that broke out in Baltimore. There's a lot of critics out there saying that this woman was actually abusing her son and saying things about her in the context of, she's supposed to be a parent who's telling her son not to be violent, yet she's out there beating her son publicly in front of people. Personally, I take issue with anybody who have found any type of, or found the, offense with anything that this mother was doing to discipline, to discipline her son. I mean, according to the news, her and her son had a conversation about him going out there to write, and she told him, do not do that. And she happened to have been looking at television and noticed her son, out there writing. Ladies and gentlemen, she didn't sit in the mirror and put her makeup on. She didn't like sit there and start combing her hair and say, let me go out here and do this. I believe this woman took an opportunity to save her son, and this was the only way that she could do it. And when I was growing up, that's the only way that my parents did it. They didn't believe in sitting down saying, if I broke a window, come on, Tommy, let's go over here. I mean, Bernard, that was my younger name. Let's go over here and have a conversation about you breaking that window. On the other hand, I had neighbors that would probably come out and discipline me as well. So to all the people, and even not Planned Parenthood, but Child Protective Services have even found issues with this woman reprimanding her son the way she did publicly.
And how old was the son?
I think he's 13 or 13 or 14, something like that.
Old enough to know better.
Right. Old enough to know better. But again, she had a conversation. I had a conversation with him to tell him, don't go out there to do it, and he said he would do it. Well, he opted and he did it, and she acted the way she did. So a lot of critics are having problem with her being called Mother of the Year, which she's being called. She's been on every talk show, basically all the talk shows. She's done all the circuits. And I think what she did was right. I mean,
And just like you, I'm guessing she grew up in a certain era and was raised a certain way. In the era where that's what you did, and she did exactly what she was. The way she probably raised him the way that she was raised. So I don't see a problem with it at all.
Well, and there is a video clip. I mean, whoever was filming this while she was doing it, you could hear the conversation she was having with her son while she was swinging at him and reprimand. I'm going to use the word reprimanding. The other people can say beat or whatever, but I think she was reprimanding her son publicly.
Well, my thing is, what people don't understand, the media has made it into this big thing. You say she's the Mother of the Year. No, I don't think that you should give her a title of Mother of the Year, because mothers do this every day.
Right.
And when you have children that are in a certain environment and a certain neighborhood, this is what you have to do sometimes in order to protect your child. And I think, they're like, they've never seen it before, or we've never seen someone discipline their child before. But mothers do that every day. Right. They do it every day to make sure their children are obeying them and doing what they, told them that they were going to do. I think she just was shocked that her son actually disobeyed her in something that has just received so much national attention. And it was not, that she was just abusing him. It's like, we've had this conversation. I expect better of you. I'm really hurt that you disobeyed me and you came out here.
And I think, what would she have thought had she not gone downtown or wherever she came from to reprimand him and let him stay out there to do that, and next thing you know, he's shot?
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. How could she have lived with herself, after had something like that happen? All these critics don't realize, this, and they probably don't have kids, a lot of them, to even, make this judgment call against this woman. So I just found, as far as, my I Speak for this week, that's something I wanted to throw out on the table to say to everyone, I am so glad that this woman took a stand to come out and save her son and reprimand him the way she did. So
I think it's great. My mom would have done the exact same
right.
thing.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I was watching it all happen, and they were saying, where are their parents? Where are their parents?
Right.
Where here she is.
And I commend her.
Ding dong, here I am.
Right.
I actually commend her. I applaud her. If you want to give her Mother of the Year, that's fine. Once again, we see things and we say things all the time. The responsibility of of a child should be the parents. If that child would have gotten shot by a cop or beat by a cop, that's supposed to be okay. But now we have a mother who didn't, like you said, worry about her makeup. She didn't worry about anything. The fact that she saw her child, her seed, someone that she cares about, and she went out and did what she should have done. I'm from the old school. I got whoopings by teachers. I got whoopings by neighbors and by parents. And I think I turned out to be okay.
I think
never been to jail before, never really got into any trouble. So that kind of worked. I laughed at the kids that we went to school with who got put on timeout. That was funny to me. Timeout would be a joke. Now there are laws that forbid parents from beating their children. You know, in so many cases, which we're looking at this. She's a hero to me, for example. I mean, for that very reason, she actually took the initiative to do what it is that I think a true parent should do in a situation that's emergency like this.
Oh. Thank you all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we close out tonight, we would like to give a little shout out to the two individuals to my right. Our own Miss Riley Knox recently made her debut as a singer. Her first single also happened to feature our own Mr. Richie Skye. So as we go out tonight, we would like to present the music video to the tune entitled Turn Me On. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for watching, and we ask that you join us again when next we speak. Hit it, Tony.
Straight up the box, baddest bitch in the game, think they ready, they not.